and we have with us Professor J.B. Dissanayake on the show. He's been explaining the significance and the importance, the sharing that occurs when we get together and carry out some of the rituals that are part and parcel of the Vesak festival here in Sri Lanka. But before I went for the break, I told you that the Vesak festival, according to Professor J.B. Dissanayake, is not just a festival where we celebrate, that is, the most importantly, we celebrate the birth, the enlightenment, as well as the passing away of Lord Buddha. But there are two other celebrations that maybe we as Sri Lankans forget. So let's speak about that aspect, Professor.
Normally, Vesak is said to be the thrice blessed day, you see. Celebrate three events in the life of the Buddha: his birth, enlightenment, and passing away. Now that's known, very well known.
Of course.
I think there are two more things can be added to this list. One is the beginning of a new calendar, new year. So on the Vesak day, you begin another year in the Buddhist calendar. So Buddhism regards the full moon day at the beginning of a month.
Yes.
So therefore, this is the beginning of another new year. Like our new year in April, the Shaka New Year, is another birth of a new year, a Buddhist year. Buddha was born, I think, 623 years before Christ.
Okay.
And after 80 years, passed away in 523rd year. So that's the way we calculate.
Yes.
There are others who have different dates for the birth and the passing of the Buddha.
Oh,
for us,
I
yes,
see.
there's a kind of different opinion on this matter. The say Sri Lankans and the Thais, the people in the kind of southern school, sort of the Theravada, they take 523 at the year of his birth, and after 8 years we agree on that, and that's the birth. Then of course the legend says that Vijaya landed by accident in this island on the day the Buddha was lying on his deathbed.
I see.
In Kasi, in say Kushinagar, Buddha was Kusinara. Buddha was lying on his deathbed, about to pass away. Then he had seen with a divine eye Vijaya and his 700 people landing in this country. So he had called the Lord of the Gods, called Chakra in a Buddhist way, and said, today this valiant prince and his followers are landing in that country, please look after them. Because that, and in that island will be my Dhammadipa. So that island will be where my Dhamma will be preserved for the future, posterity. So therefore say look after. Then of course the legend says that Chakra, the Lord of the Gods, is Indra in a Hindu sense, he asked another god called Uppalavan to look after Vijaya and his followers. So if Vijay landed here on the day of the Buddha's passing away, he passed away on a Vesak day. So I think if that is true, then
it's a logical conclusion
that we have to celebrate not only the thricefold events of his life, but even the founding of this nation.
Of course.
On a day. But of course, very few people kind of focus attention on that matter because it doesn't make much sense. But some may disagree on that. It's maybe not possible. Maybe the Buddhist monks have tried to make two events come together. You see, so we are not, because it's not historically recorded. Only legend says so. So that's anyway. But
it is something to keep in mind. It's something interesting.
I think you can just keep in mind, not that you are going to celebrate anything.
Yes.
And because then the idea of a Dhammadipa. Now that's a very important thing. So the Buddha said, or make a prediction that in the future my Dhamma will last in this land, because of Dhammadipa, land of his doctrine. So he said this will continue for 5,000 years. So that's kind of prediction he made.
Okay.
This Buddhism will continue for a period of 5,000 years. And now already we have gone through half of it.
Half of it, yes.
So, but then at the end of the 5,000, it will disappear. That's a prediction he made.
Oh, I see.
Yes. So they say after 2,500, it will start kind of, declining slowly for another 2,500 years. And ultimately disappear and making room for another Buddha to come.
I see. Okay.
This whole idea of, the life of there's not the one Buddha, there have been many Buddhas before, 24
Yes.
of them who make sure that Gautama will become a Buddha. So it's a whole lineage of Buddhas called Buddha Vangsa. So that's a story about, he's making a prediction or proclaiming that this island is his land of his Dhamma. So this has gone into the heart, soul of the Buddhist people. So they have gone out of the way to make sure that his idea is somehow will prosper here.
And what a blessed thing to be that the Buddha himself, through his words, has blessed the island as his own Dhamma-deepa.
Yes.
But what do you think about the status of the Dhamma in the Sri Lankan society today?
Well, Dhamma was written for the first time in this country. Now Buddha delivered his sermons mostly in India,
Yes.
in the central part of India called Magadha. In the language spoken in Magadha called Magadhi. And Buddhist monks, these are not written down anywhere. The Buddhist monks learn by heart
Oh, I see.
the text of all these Buddha's sermons, and they brought
Yes.
it down from word of mouth for many years until it was written down in the 1st century BC during the time of King Valagamba, Vattagamini Abhaya, done at Matale in the temple Alvihara. There it was written down with the help of Sinhala script. So Buddha spoke Magadhi, and his what he said was written down in Sri Lanka by means of Sinhala script, and those texts were called Pali.
Yes.
So Pali and Magadhi refer same thing. But Magadhi is an Indian name, Pali is our own native term, and this was done by monks of the Mahavihara. So Mahavihara monks are the ones who kept the records of the Buddha's, the life, or the history of the Buddha Sasana. So there it is said that the Buddha, it is the monks of the Mahavihara who said that the Buddha said on a deathbed that this will continue to be his Dhamma-deepa. So they are close to the original teachings of the Buddha.
Yes.
Because we wrote it down here. So we are closer to the original teachings of the Buddha. So this tradition is called Theravada tradition, the tradition of the elders, the Theravada. So sometimes it's called the primitive Buddhism, the earliest form of Buddhism. Later it changed because of the influence of Hinduism and all that. When it went towards China, towards Japan and all that, Mongolia, it changed, got many things added, and came up with another school called Mahayana. So we take pride in the fact that our teachings are the closest to those original words of the Buddha.
Yes, yes. And
it's called Theravada tradition.
And that's where the importance of the Dhamma in our land comes in, because we are closer to the original, as you mentioned.
Yes.
But then when you speak about how people are practicing it nowadays, it seems that there may be even a gap, not through intentional purposes, but just because of the lifestyles that we lead today. That
Well, when you say practice, it means conduct, how we conduct ourselves.
Of course, yes.
On the basis of what the Buddha said. Well, Buddha said on the very first sermon, he said, there's so much suffering in the world. Of course, there is a reason for the suffering, because we are all attached to various things. Of course, there's a way to get rid of suffering, get rid of your craving, and then there's a state of mind when you are very tranquil. So this is a summary of the Four Noble Truths. And then he kind of designed a way to attain that state of mind. That's a what was eightfold path.
Yes.
You know, that's everybody Buddhist knows. All that is kind of made simpler by giving the Buddhists two sets of codes of conduct called Panchasila and Attanga Sila. So every Buddhist is expected to observe the 5 precepts called Panchasila or Pansila. What it aims to do is to promote better relations with others. Panchasila makes you a better person with others. It's meant for the others. On the other hand, on a poor day, on a special day, you can observe 3 more of the 3 more precepts and called Attanga Sila or Attasil, where you try to promote well-being within yourself. So Panchasila is for others, to be in good terms with others.
Okay.
The Attasil is to be happy with yourself.
Yes. Yes.
To be in peace with yourself. Now say if you take the Panchasila, if you bring all 5 together, it means don't hurt others. If you summarize the 5 into 1, for me it means please do not hurt others. When you say, the very first say, thou shall not kill, or I shall not kill anybody, means I am not hurting anybody by taking his life. Taking the life of another is the ultimate physical hurt.
Of course.
But anything on this side, say assaulting somebody, punching somebody, or doing anything physically, can bring hurt to others. So don't hurt others physically. The very first thing, don't hurt others physically. If you don't hurt others physically, you are on good terms with him. You have not hurt him. You could have easily done that, but you assaulted him, but you didn't. So you didn't. Then the second precept says, I shall not take anything that is not given properly to me. What you mean is, I don't steal. Stealing means you take things from, you take others' possessions without informing the owner. So that's what was stealing.
Yes.
And then you hurt somebody. If he suddenly discovered something is missing, you are hurting him. If you ask for it if you take it with his permission, you are right. But if you took something that belongs to another without the owner's permission, you are hurting him. He's very much worried about it. What happened to it? So don't hurt, don't steal. Then again, the third one says, got extramarital relations. When a married person has extramarital relations, you are hurting not one but many. Your family, the wife, the other's family.
Yes, of course.
So if you are legally married, you have children, that's one thing. But if you go beyond that, you are going to hurt many others. Same with lying. The musavada means you tell what is not true. If you tell what is not true, you are going to hurt others again. If I tell something about you which is not true, it's going to hurt you. The day you discover that so and so has said all that about me and which is not true, I'm hurting you. So lying hurts others. And finally, when people get drunk too much, then they go beyond the point to a state of mental torpor. Then you don't know what you are doing. Especially when people are very drunk, they start shouting at others and making a fool of themselves. So these 5 precepts ensure, if you observe them, you are made a better person with others. They like you because you don't do any of those things that hurt them. But on a poor day, you observe 3 more or maybe 5 more. The change is not just in numbers. You are not adding 3 more to those 5. These are of different purpose. Now here, don't hurt yourself. There I don't hurt others. I won't hurt myself now. I want to be in peace myself.
And we are going for a very short break now, Professor, but we'll come back right after the break. We'll speak about that, how you can, now we've spoken about how you can stop hurting others, and right after the break we'll speak about what you can do to really stop hurting yourself. And I think lots of people do that very unintentionally, but at the same time it's something that maybe on this Vesak Poya Day that you can change. So do stay with us. We'll be right back on Good Morning Sri Lanka.